Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into something really cool today. Astronaut Sunita Williams is coming back to Earth, back home after 9 months in space.
9 months, yeah, that is a pretty long time up there. Much longer than the average mission. Most are, well, closer to 6 months.
Right. It's pretty incredible. And to top it off, she got a really personal invitation from India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to come visit.
Yeah, I saw that. It was quite a gesture. Delivered by former astronaut Mike Massimino, and just full of warm wishes, almost like a family member welcoming her back. Not the typical welcome home you see from world leaders.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. Definitely something special about both the mission itself, 9 months in space is no joke, and then also the cultural significance of this invite. Lots to unpack.
Absolutely. I mean, first off, let's talk about spending 9 months in space. It's got to be tough. Even with all the crazy training astronauts go through, it's incredibly demanding, both physically and mentally.
Oh yeah, for sure. It makes you think, how does being isolated like that for so long in such a confined space, how does that mess with you mentally? What do you think?
Well, researchers have been trying to figure that out for years. Just picture it. You're stuck in this metal box,
Hmm.
hundreds of miles above Earth, surrounded by the emptiness of space. It's got to do something to you.
That's mind-blowing, right? You're constantly thinking about the risks. Plus you're dealing with zero gravity. And then there's the isolation from everyone you love. I can't even imagine how that shapes your whole mindset.
One thing that comes up a lot is this thing called the overview effect. Some astronauts experience it when they see Earth from space, like it's this cognitive shift.
Oh, I've heard of that. It sounds pretty intense.
It is. They talk about this sudden awareness of how fragile Earth is and how connected everything is. A lot of them describe this feeling of awe, this deep understanding of the interconnectedness of everything, and this renewed responsibility for our planet.
Wow. Makes you wonder if every world leader should experience something like that. Imagine how that could change their priorities, their decisions.
It's an interesting thought, right? And there's actually a growing movement that's advocating for space tourism for this very reason,
Mhm.
to expose more people to this overview effect,
Mhm.
thinking it could lead to more global cooperation, even change the course of history.
That's incredible. Maybe someday it'll be a possibility for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's shift gears a bit and talk about Prime Minister Modi's letter. It was so personal, even mentioning Sunita's late father and her husband.
Yeah, it really highlighted the significance of this for India. Culturally speaking, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Those sentiments, they're deeply rooted in Indian culture, representing family, community, national pride.
Yeah. And he even called her one of India's most illustrious daughters. You could feel like a proud parent welcoming their child home.
Right. And it kind of shows you how India's national identity is evolving, how they see themselves on the world stage now, especially in science and tech. Sunita Williams, with her Indian heritage, becomes a symbol of that progress.
Definitely. And there's this other part of the letter that I found really interesting. Modi mentioning Sunita Williams to both Trump and Biden.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But it does highlight something important, I think.
Like what?
Well, it suggests that India sees itself as a major player now, globally. It's almost like they're saying, look, we're up there with the big guys. We've got people who are respected, admired by everyone.
That's true. It's a subtle way to put themselves out there on the world stage.
Exactly. Especially when you think about space exploration. It's always been dominated by just a few powerful nations. India is definitely signaling their ambition here to be a leader in this field, too.
It's true. And now that you mention it, I do remember reading about some pretty amazing strides India has made in space. What were some of those again?
Well, just back in 2014, they launched their own Mars orbiter, making them the first Asian nation to reach Mars, actually.
Wow, that's right. I remember that now. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, definitely a landmark moment for them. And they haven't stopped there. They've launched a bunch of satellites, they've done lunar missions, and they're even working on their own human spaceflight program.
That's awesome. So it's not just a personal win for Sunita Williams, coming home. It's also a symbol of India's rising importance in space exploration as a whole.
Exactly. It's a moment of real national pride for them. And
Okay.
Sunita Williams, with her heritage and what she's accomplished, embodies that perfectly. And it's not just about, pride for India. Her mission also involves some pretty fascinating scientific research up on the International Space Station.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got so caught up in the homecoming and the cultural side of things, I almost forgot about all the science. What kind of research was she doing?
Well, she was part of a team that was looking into the effects of long-duration spaceflight on the human body. which is, really important stuff, especially as we look ahead to future missions like to Mars and even beyond.
Right, because getting to Mars, I mean, that's a whole other challenge compared to just orbiting Earth.
Yeah.
What are some of the specific things scientists are trying to figure out when it comes to that?
One of the biggest hurdles is how microgravity affects, like bone density and muscle mass. Astronauts lose bone and muscle way faster up there than they do down here.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a major concern for a mission that could last years, like a trip to Mars.
For sure. And there's also the radiation exposure, potential issues with cardiovascular health, and even just the psychological effects of being isolated and confined for so long. It all adds up.
Sounds like there's still a lot we need to learn before we can even think about sending people on a journey like that safely.
Absolutely. And that's why the research happening on the ISS is so vital. It's giving us the data we need to come up with ways to counteract those risks, develop new technologies to protect astronauts.
It's amazing to think that Sunita Williams was a part of that, pushing the boundaries of what we know, all while orbiting hundreds of miles above us.
She's definitely an inspiration. And speaking of inspiring, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the impact her visit to India could have. What do you think she might have on her agenda?
Well, I'm sure there will be a bunch of talks and meetings, and maybe she'll even get to visit some of those amazing landmarks, like the Taj Mahal or the Golden Temple.
Oh, I'm sure those are on the list.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what could be even more impactful is her connection with young people, especially students. Imagine a real astronaut, a woman of Indian descent, sharing her experiences, inspiring a whole new generation of scientists and engineers.
It's like a real-life superhero coming to town. It could totally change the game for India's future in science and technology.
Exactly. She could spark a passion for STEM, in so many young minds. It could be a turning point, encouraging them to go into space exploration, research, innovation. Who knows, maybe we'll even see some of those kids on future missions to Mars.
That would be incredible. It's amazing to think about the ripple effect someone like Sunita Williams can have. But beyond the science and inspiration, there's also that cultural element to her visit.
Oh, for sure. I mean, she's going back to a country with such a rich, vibrant culture. It's a chance for her to reconnect with her roots, experience those traditions, the food, the music, the festivals. It'll be a true homecoming.
That's a great way to put it. It's more than just physically coming back to Earth. It's about reconnecting with her identity, her heritage, and sharing that with everyone.
Exactly. And, it also highlights the importance of diversity and representation. Seeing someone like Sunita Williams achieve these incredible things can be so empowering, especially for young people who, might not have seen themselves represented in STEM fields before.
Yeah, it's a reminder that anyone can reach for the stars. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is. It sends such a powerful message about breaking down barriers and achieving your dreams.
Absolutely. And going back to what we were discussing earlier about Prime Minister Modi mentioning Sunita Williams to both Trump and Biden, that seems like more than just a casual comment.
I was thinking the same thing. It's interesting, almost like a subtle way of saying, hey, look what our people are capable of.
Right, like a low-key way to show off India's talent, their potential on a global scale. And it's especially interesting when you consider that, historically, space exploration has been dominated by a handful of powerful countries.
It really makes you think about how things are changing in space exploration. We're seeing more and more countries becoming key players, more international collaboration. It's becoming a much more global effort.
Definitely. And that's a good thing. It brings together different perspectives, expertise, resources, all pushing the boundaries of what we know, what we can achieve.
Makes you wonder what the future holds for space exploration, right? Will we see even more international collaboration, more diversity among astronauts, more groundbreaking discoveries?
It's a really exciting time to be following all of this, that's for sure. Who knows, maybe one day we'll even see an Indian astronaut launching from U.S. soil or an American astronaut joining a mission led by the Indian Space Research Organization.
Now, that would be something else. It really speaks to the power of human ambition, that shared desire to explore what's out there.
And that realization that we're all in this together, sharing this little blue planet in the vastness of space.
Well said. But before we get too lost in the cosmos, let's bring things back down to Earth for a minute. I'd love to hear more about what Sunita Williams might experience during her time in India.
Ah, yes. The food. Think about all the amazing culinary experiences she'll have. After months of space food, she'll finally get to enjoy the incredible variety and richness of Indian cuisine.
Oh, I'm all about the food. What are some must-try dishes she should definitely check out?
Well, it depends on where she goes, of course. India is such a diverse country, each region with its own unique culinary traditions. But if she's looking for a truly authentic experience, she's got to try the street food.
Street food is the best. What are some of your favorites?
Oh, there are so many. But some classics are pani puri, these little crispy puffs filled with like flavored water and chutneys. Dosa, it's a thin, crispy crepe made from fermented rice and lentils. And of course, you can't forget samosas, those fried pastries filled with spiced potatoes and peas.
Man, you're making me hungry just describing those. I can only imagine how amazing it will be for Sunita Williams to experience all these flavors after months of those prepackaged meals.
It'll be a total sensory overload in the best way possible. And beyond the food, there's the whole vibrant culture to experience, the music, the dance, the festivals, the colors, the warmth of the people. It's truly something special.
And speaking of something special, let's not forget about the potential impact she'll have on the next generation. What kind of legacy do you think Sunita Williams will leave behind?
I think she'll be remembered as someone who broke barriers, as a symbol of what humans can achieve, and as a powerful voice for STEM education. Her story will inspire so many young people to chase their dreams, no matter how big they are.
It's a good reminder that we're all capable of amazing things if we set our minds to it. And sometimes all it takes is one inspiring person to light that spark of curiosity and determination.
Absolutely. And that spark can turn into a lifetime of exploration, discovery, new ideas.
It's like a chain reaction, with Sunita Williams' journey inspiring others to start their own journeys of discovery.
Exactly. And who knows what those journeys will lead to? Maybe a whole new generation of astronauts, scientists, engineers, all because of her.
That's a beautiful thought. Before we move on, I want to touch on something we haven't really discussed. The physical challenges Sunita Williams will face when she gets back to Earth. After 9 months in microgravity, her body's going to need some time to readjust.
Oh, you're right. It's easy to forget about that part with all the excitement of her coming home. It's a testament to the dedication and resilience of these astronauts, that they not only handle the challenges of spaceflight, but also the demands of readapting to Earth's gravity.
What are some of the specific physical things she'll have to deal with?
Well, balance problems are pretty common. After spending so long in an environment where there's no up or down, it takes a while for the inner ear and brain to recalibrate.
I bet. It must feel like the world is constantly tilting and swaying.
Exactly. And then there's muscle weakness and bone loss. Remember, astronauts lose bone and muscle much faster in space. So they need to go through intense physical therapy to regain their strength and stability.
It sounds like a tough process, but I'm sure she'll have the best medical care to help her through it.
Oh, absolutely. And knowing Sunita Williams, she'll approach it with the same determination and perseverance she brought to her mission.
It's incredible the strength it takes, both physical and mental, to be an astronaut.
It really is.
Yeah.
They're pushing the boundaries of what humans can endure. And by doing that, they're not only expanding our knowledge, but they're inspiring all of us to reach for our own potential.
Very well said. We've covered so much ground in this conversation, from the science behind her mission to the cultural significance of her return to India.
It's been quite the journey. We've explored the challenges of spaceflight, the impact of seeing Earth from above, how the landscape of space exploration is changing, the power of representation and inspiration.
And through it all, we've seen the incredible story of a woman who dared to dream big and achieve something truly extraordinary.
A story that reminds us the sky's not the limit when there are footprints on the moon.
I love that. Before we wrap up, is there anything else about Sunita Williams' journey that really stood out to you?
I think what really struck me was her sense of adventure, how she never lost that, and her strong connection to her heritage. It's like a reminder that we can reach for the stars while staying true to who we are, where we come from.
That's such an important message. It makes her story even more relatable, more inspiring for people all over the world.
It really does. It's a reminder that each of us has a unique story, and we all have the potential for greatness within us.
Well said. Okay, I think we've covered just about everything on Sunita Williams' homecoming and her inspiring journey. Before we get to our final thoughts, let's take a quick break just to refresh and recharge. All right, we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive into Sunita Williams and her incredible journey. We've covered a lot of ground, from the tough realities of space travel to the cultural importance of her return to India. Plus, let's not forget all that talk about amazing Indian food. I'm definitely craving a snack break after this.
Me too. But before we go grab something to eat, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier. Sunita Williams as this symbol of India's, changing national identity.
Oh, yeah, that was a fascinating point. Could you expand on that a bit more?
Sure. India's gone through some pretty big changes over the last few decades. They've become this global economic force,
Yeah.
a leader in science and tech. And there's this real sense of pride in those achievements. You can feel it.
I see what you mean. It's like they're stepping onto the world stage with this newfound confidence.
Exactly. And Sunita Williams, with her Indian heritage and all that she's accomplished, she really embodies that. She's this symbol of what India can do, a huge source of inspiration for the entire nation.
And it's not just about national pride, right? It's also about representation. Seeing someone who looks like you doing these incredible things, that can be so powerful, especially for kids from backgrounds that, aren't always represented in these fields.
Absolutely. Her story tells everyone, no matter your background, you can dream big, you can reach for the stars.
Right. And it reminds us that diversity isn't just some nice idea, it's actually a strength. It fuels innovation.
Yeah.
When we embrace different perspectives, different experiences, that's when we really open up the possibilities.
Well said. And speaking of possibilities, what do you think about the long-term impact of all this? How will Sunita Williams' journey continue to inspire, future generations?
I think her legacy is going to go way beyond space. She'll be remembered as this trailblazer, a role model, a huge advocate for STEM. But even more importantly, she'll inspire people to go after what they're passionate about, to face challenges head on, and to never stop trying to reach their full potential.
Couldn't agree more. Her story shows us just how much humans are capable of, that endless curiosity, resilience, innovation. That's a message that will stick with people for a long, long time.
It's been amazing exploring all these different aspects of Sunita Williams' journey with you today, and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
It's a story that will keep unfolding, inspiring new dreams, new passions, pushing the limits of what we think is possible.
And for everyone listening, we want to hear from you. What part of Sunita Williams' journey resonated with you? What questions do you have? Share your thoughts with us on social media using #DeepDiveQuestions.
Maybe we'll even get a chance to ask Sunita some of those questions ourselves.
That would be awesome. Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into space travel, human potential, and the power inspiration. Until next time, keep looking up at the stars and never stop dreaming big.